Hi, I'm Allison DuBois. I'm a world-renowned medium and profiler. I wanted to use my psychic abilities to bring some peace to the families who have lost a loved one to a violent crime. Without any prior knowledge, I'm going to bring through a victim from the other side to uncover the truth about what happened. This will dig up the living's buried emotions.
My name's Lana Stevenson. I live in Daleville, Indiana. I'm the mother of 4 beautiful children. I have been blessed most of my life to be able to be a stay-at-home mom.
My name is Ellie Neubauer. I am 16 years old, and Zack was my older brother. Zack was just the type of person to walk into a room and no matter what, you're instantly in a good mood. He was just probably the best person you could ever meet in your life. He was just amazing.
Zack was a very, very sweet little boy. He was, at all the parent-teacher conferences, one of the first things they would say would be, thank you for making such a kind human being. So that was one of the greatest things that I think I did right. I made kind children, and I feel very blessed for the 20 years I got to spend with him. Zachary was 20 years old. He was working at a place called Tyler Trust in Pendleton, just a town away, and he worked nights. And his best friend since preschool had moved in with somebody Zach called Shady 5 days prior to Zach's death, and Zach was very concerned. Zach worked second shift, so when he would get off work for those 4 days leading up to the night he passed away, he would come home. He would get home about 11:30 at night and change clothes and leave. He said, Mom, I don't feel right with Hunter being over there alone. So he would go and play video games until Hunter would get up at 3 or 4 in the morning to go to work, and then he would come home and sleep till 2 and then go back to his evening job. On that 5th night, Zach came home, changed clothes, and did the same. I feel like he knew something was wrong. I was doing dishes when he got home from work, and he just popped his head in the kitchen and said, I'm going to change clothes. I'll be in to see you in a minute. He came up behind me after he had changed clothes and I was still doing the dishes. And he kissed my cheek, right? And he squeezed me and told me he left me. And he said, I'm sorry, Mama, but I'm going to go. I said, okay, honey, just be careful. And the last 6 months of Zach's life, I only prayed for him. And I don't know why. That day happened to be my birthday, my 47th birthday. And I woke up at 8:04 to my phone ring, and I just hit ignore. It was my ex-husband calling, which is strange. At 8:06, my phone rang again. And I answered it. The sheriff had been there to inform Zach's father that he had been killed at night at 4 a.m. He was shot 8 times. And they said it in a robbery gone bad is what they called it. If I could say anything to Zach, I would have wanted him to cherish his life as much as I did. And I want to tell him that he will never be forgotten. And that he touched so many lives. And I will keep him alive as long as I'm alive.
I want him to know that he was my best friend. And he always will be my best friend. And I love him very much.
I want to know from this reading more of what doesn't make sense. When Hunter came back in, he said all of a sudden an arm flew in the room and guns started going off. And he dragged Zack's dead body to his car. He didn't call 911. If the neighbors hadn't heard the gunshots, where was he taking Zack? Why did he drag Zack through the snow? When the police pulled up, Hunter was just sitting in his car with the door open, smoking a cigarette, and Zack's dead body was laying in his car. I want to know what I'm being lied to about. I want to know what the truth is.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You're both. I'm assuming you must be the mom because he said she's seriously the best mom I could have asked for. Are you like a mother to him?
I'm his mom.
Okay. That was the first thing he said, and for me that sets the tone for the reading. The first thing they said. He was very easy to bring through.
Oh.
He has a lot of energy. I've written a couple of pages of him talking already, so I'm going to share that with you.
Okay.
And you can react however you want, but just think of me as a secretary.
Okay.
That he knows can hear him. Okay. So
Okay.
you're the magic. You're why he's here. Okay. He said there are a lot of pictures of me being a clown, some good ones with sunglasses on. So he likes the pictures of him making faces and giving people a hard time. So he feels like somebody that really enjoyed life.
Absolutely.
He said my family was everything to me. So I feel like his life revolved around his family, and that's what mattered. Then he was just being kind of cute, and he started laughing, and he said, tattoos for me? So it feels as though people got tattoos for him. Do you understand?
Yes.
And he thinks this is really hilarious. Okay. So he showed himself in a boat fishing. And he's just sitting in the boat fishing and taking it easy. And he was saying, don't worry about me, Mom. I'm just chilling.
Zachary was an avid fisher. He went fishing with his best friend Leaf all the time. A dear friend of mine had this box made for me, and it looks like Zack sitting in a boat fishing on the top of his cremation box.
He also talked about the balloons, and he kept referencing the balloons. Do you know if somebody released balloons for him?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
At the Muncie Police Department.
Okay. So that made him happy, and he was there. So maybe you were wondering if he was there or if he saw it. He's letting you know he saw the balloon release. Okay?
The victims advocates through the Muncie Police Department here in Delaware County put together, it was in April, he passed in February, and the Muncie Police Department did a victims advocate balloon release for victims of murder. So lots of parents gathered, and we released balloons, and lots of his friends came with me, and his grandma and his sisters.
He also laughed. He likes to be outside, but he talked about the dogs being with him. He said the dogs are with me. So did you have dogs that passed, or does he have dogs that matter to him?
When he passed away, he had a dog, and it got hit by a car just 4 months after he died.
Okay.
And as we were burying him, Zack's little sister said, Mom, I feel like Zack said, come on, Bubba, come be with me.
Okay, so then I said, how did you feel around the time that you passed? Okay. He said it happened so fast. He also had referenced something coming out of left field, but it almost felt like a cheap shot. Do you know what that means to him? a cheap shot?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And he made me feel like the air was knocked out of him. So I just feel like, ugh, like the air being knocked out of me.
Definitely.
But he's letting you know that he wasn't feeling pain. There was a numbness in him. So he's not going through the suffering. It feels as though it happened fast. And he's talking about it happening fast. So for you to know that it all just was sort of a perfect storm of what was taking place. He also said, I was a good guy. I stood up for people. So he talked about being somebody that would stand up for other people.
Definitely.
So I feel like he was one of the good guys, and whatever took him out was something undeserving of him.
Zack was just protective over absolutely everything he loved. If he loved you, no one was doing anything to harm you, nothing. He was there.
He said he was very much a big kid.
Absolutely.
So even though he was a man, he was very much a child, and he liked to be babied by you still. And
yeah.
So even when he told you, Mom, I'm grown, he still really liked it when you coddled him. So he's thanking you for that. He was a mama's boy. Okay. And then he was talking about his memorial, and he said lots of shots for me. So a lot of people took shots for him, and he's sorry that they're hurting, but he just cracked up watching them fall all over themselves. He also really loved hearing all of the kind things people had to say about him and how much he's missed. And it feels as though he didn't actually know how loved he was until he died.
There's a picture of just a huge group of people raising a glass to Zachary, and it's a beautiful picture and a wonderful memory.
And then he said kids love him. So he shows that kids were drawn to him, that he was safe. They'd go to him and he'd collect him in his arms.
Mm-hmm.
This also feels like something he does now. That when kids die and they're afraid, he's there. So he's one of the people that says, it's going to be okay, I'll get you where you need to go.
Oh.
So he just wants you to be proud of him and know that he has a function where he's at. When he's not with you and his sisters, he's very much taking care of children.
I have a letter that someone sent me a few months after he passed away, talking about how what a huge impact Zack made on his life, and that he was kind of an outcast, and Zack always made him feel special and would sit by him and include him in everything. And children adored Zack, and he adored children. And his niece just meant the world to him.
He did say, I play with the lights, and he was showing people lighting candles for him. Do you know if people lit candles for him?
Yeah.
Like to memorialize him?
Yeah.
Okay. He saw that, but he also talks about in the house. He likes to mess with you by playing with the lights. So he's saying that's just him. Don't be afraid. Okay?
I'm not afraid.
Okay, good.
Keep doing it, kiddo.
One thing that did seem important to him, he said, I've been in love. Was there a girl that he had loved?
Yes, very much.
So he's going to want to give her a message as well, if that's okay with you.
Yes.
But he wants her to know from this reading that he acknowledged having been in love. And so he's thanking her for that, because if it hadn't been for her, his life still would have been short. He would have passed anyway. And he's saying, at least he knows what it feels like to be in love.
Zack had a girlfriend. Her name's Ashley. She still posts on his Facebook page weekly, sometimes daily, how much she loves and misses him. And her and I and the girls are still close. She'll always be a part of my family. I consider her my daughter-in-law.
He's also talking about a couple of babies are going to be named after him. So he's talking about his name being carried on. So he knows that's happening. Okay? Okay.
Zack's friend Leaf has named his son. My son's name was Zachary Mason. And Zack's friend Leaf has named his son Mason. So it means a lot to me, and it honors Zack's life, and I love it. I hope there's 100 Masons running around one day.
I'm going to start a new page for him. He had said he wanted to say some things to his sisters. Is it okay if we do that? And then I'll let you ask any questions you have?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to start with Abby.
Okay.
He said, "You're the boss now," to Abby. "You're the boss now." He said, "Take care of Mom." That's important to him. He was trying to give her his t-shirts. He's trying to give her his t-shirts. I don't know if she wears his t-shirts, but he was trying to hand them to her. Like he wants her to have some, okay?
She does, yeah.
Okay. He said, "I love you." And he said, "Take out the Christmas pictures when we were little." So he was talking about pictures of the two of them. I feel as though they were close.
Yeah.
And he just wants her to look at those pictures and remember he'll always be in her picture. He's not going anywhere. And he loves her too. He says to tell her, "Don't lose your mind or anything, Abby." He says, "You got to keep a straight head now." He says he does talk to her and he comes to her when she sleeps. So he does try and come through to her. So he's trying really hard to communicate with her.
Okay.
I don't know if she senses him in her room, but he's there.
Okay.
So he wants her to know that. He acts as her protection. I feel like he liked to hug Haley. He liked to put his arm around her neck and sort of put her in a headlock or, you know, goof around with her that way. But he said she's the sweetest. So he talks about Haley to him being the sweetest. And he also feels she was very much like having a brother and a sister.
Yeah.
So she must have a tomboy side to her
Very
where
much.
they could maybe climb trees together. And
They
do
were
those sorts of
always
things.
together when they were little,
Okay.
doing everything outside together.
He wants her to know that she means the world to him and not to minimize herself as she goes through life. He feels as though sometimes he doesn't think she sees her worth. And he wants to make sure she sees her worth. And so for her, he's going to act as her confidence through life, where he whispers in her ear, "You've got this. You could do this." And he says she can do anything. He says, "Tell her not to turn to darkness. Don't do things to mentally check out from the pain." He wants her to embrace the pain and move through it and learn from it. He says it's going to be okay. She'll make it. Okay?
That's wonderful.
Okay. Ellie. Ellie, he says, "My baby." He calls her his baby.
Yes, Ellie's definitely his baby.
He's laughing. He says she can be the favorite now. She can be the favorite. I feel like he always liked to see himself as your favorite.
Yeah.
And he's saying he'll let her have her turn now.
Aww.
You know, she deserves your attention. I feel as though the two of you are going to turn to each other in healing, and you and Ellie are going to help each other through it. And he's very proud of her. He loves all of his sisters. He feels as though Ellie missed out on all the memories and the getting in trouble with him. And he just wants her to know he'll be there when she gets in trouble. He's just not going to be a part of the trouble.
Right.
So just remember, she's being watched. Do you have any questions for him?
I would love to know if there were only 2 shooters. My suspicion is there was not. There was 3.
Here's what he's saying, and I was kind of confused by this when he was showing me earlier the wind being knocked out of him, and I felt disoriented and sort of turned around by what was going on around me. It just feels like there were more people involved than they think, and there were other bystanders as well, he says. So this wasn't just 2 people. There was a small group of people that knew exactly what happened and that stood by. It almost feels as though the people that did this were affiliated with a group, you know, like a gang or some sort of group.
I really can't talk a lot about the case because it is still ongoing because there's another person that was involved that we don't have justice yet. The trial is pending. But one of the shooters, Marcus Hanyard, was sentenced to 61 years for Zack's murder. And that brought much relief to the family.
He just seems to feel as though it's not good for you where you're at. Sometimes they'll also feel that way because you're not able to heal when you stay there. And maybe he feels as though where you're at, you're not healing because it reminds you too much of him.
Can't sleep in my bed because I laid there for a year and grieved. So I sleep on the couch.
Right. But he sees that. So he's trying to get you out of there so you can have your space again, so you can live. The thing that helped me when my dad died is every day that you wake up is a new day. It's a day closer to seeing Zack.
Yeah.
So you're moving towards Zack. He's not your past. He's your present and future. So when you get out of bed in the morning, just remember that you're moving towards him, to seeing him again. Okay? Did you have any other questions for him?
Yes. This is so selfish, but did he realize that he was walking into that danger on my birthday? Did he forget it was my birthday?
Okay. And that's not selfish. It's okay to want to know that. In answer to, did he realize he was in danger? He said, I didn't think anybody would hurt me. He didn't think anybody would hurt him. So he did not know he was walking into danger. Then I asked him, did you forget her birthday? And he felt like such a son. Not that I have one, but I brought a lot of sons through, and he felt like, he said, I figure I'd drop by later and give her a kiss.
Yep.
So he just figured he'd drop by. He didn't forget. He figured he'd drop by later and give you a kiss and tell you happy birthday. So he didn't forget. Okay. He says he's so sorry. He wishes he could be here again, come back. It's just he couldn't get back in his body. He doesn't want your birthday to be such a sad day for you. You know, he was going to come by and give you a kiss and say happy birthday. Like, he didn't intend for it to go the way that it did.
Yeah.
And, but he doesn't want to ruin your birthday forever. He wants your birthday to be a day that you remember was your mom and dad's one of their favorite days in the whole year. He says, happy Mother's Day. This was a good one, huh?
Uh-huh.
So I feel like he's taking credit for making this happen for you, that it's your Mother's Day gift from him, because you never thought that you'd hear Happy Mother's Day from him again, and he's saying Happy Mother's Day, Mom. You know, he'll be there on that day. He's still your son, and he wants you to remember that he's very proud to be your son. And
I'm so proud to be his mom.
He says you're his queen.
Oh.
He says, and his sisters are the princesses, and he was so lucky. And so he says, give them all a kiss and a hug, and let them know that they still have a brother, that he's still by their side. He says, remember, I love you more. I'm going to break my connection with him and send him with you.
I have a sign on my wall that says I love you more.
Okay, well, he sees that. So he shared that with me so that you'd understand this is him. And I know that you know it's him, but you know, he likes a grand exit. Yeah. You'll live a whole nother lifetime on the other side when you see him.
Oh, I can't wait to shut my eyes. I know a smiling face will be there.
But he wants you to live. And if you love him enough to die for him, you have to love him enough to live for him.
And that's why I'm living. Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of gifts coming to you in life. You're going to have a lot of little grandsons that remind you very much of Zack. And so that's when he said there's a couple of babies that are going to be named after him. You're going to have a grandson named after him. He says, actually, my sisters will kind of fight over my name on it, whether it's a middle name or a first name.
They're doing that right now.
I just wish you all the best. So, Lana, it was an honor. And
Thank you,
thank you for
Allison. It was
sitting down
such
with me today.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
You're very welcome. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye. I think because I believe so deeply in the fact that there's just a very thin veil between earth and heaven, and women like Allison, I think God has blessed them with a wonderful gift. And for her to be able to bring my son through, and she really caught his spirit. She was laughing. And that's exactly what Zack would have made her do. Allison was so spot on so many things that she said. I do have to admit, I felt punched in the gut a few times when she said that he was fighting to get back in his body and that he didn't want to go. Of course, I knew that. Who would want to die that way? I just want to thank Allison from the bottom of my heart. She said that she believed that Zack made this all happen for me, and she said that he said Happy Mother's Day, and this was my gift, and this is the greatest gift. Unexpectedly, I would have, like she said, never expected to get a Mother's Day gift from Zack again, and this has been amazing, and I am so grateful.